Now, I might be a little too young to remember a time in which the New York Times was ever to be taken serious. But today is not that day. This is not that era. This is not that time. According to the O, N, the Y, and the T, jogging has always excluded black people. That's right, folks. According to the New York Times, jogging is racist. Now, I have gone through quite an extensive list of things that are now considered as racist, including, but not exclusive to, math, IQ test, and your mere existence as a white person. So let's go ahead and get into this article, shall we? Now, I'm going to pull this up so y'all can read this in real time with me, or you can just listen along. I'm going to do my best. Again, as I said before, when I'm reading out articles, my laptop has a little bit of distance from me. I don't want to, do the whole cover up half the screen thing. So I'm still working the situation out. Let's see. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, there we go. So jogging has always excluded black people. So black people, if you've ever jogged, it is likely a miracle because you have been segregated from the activity of walking a little faster than a regular walk or running a little slower than a regular run. Let's get into it. Oh, what is this little piece? Born in Lillywhite, Oregon, it's a sport that's long claimed to be for everyone, even as African Americans, and that you can't use that word anymore. This is 2020 publication, of course, 2020. It's FBA now, so this right here is definitely played out. African American, Black American joggers have been persistently subjected to harassment and worse. Wow. Free, easy, relaxing. That's how jogging was marketed in the late 1960s. Here we go all the way back to the 60s. The first time anybody ever jogged. Before then, never happened. When the idea of heading out on a regular run was unfamiliar to most Americans. Unlike other physical fitness programs that required heavy, extensive gear, jogging was accessible to all, boosters claim. I mean, you would think so. I could get up right now and, thank God I have the ability to use my legs. Therefore, I could get to jogging, right? Who it excludes are the individuals who don't have their ability or the ability to use their lower extremities, their legs. So this might be ableist, but anyway. But history shows how untrue that is and how long the sport of running has maintained this fiction. When video surfaced of the unaliving of, here we go, Ahmaud Arbery. Okay. I didn't see this angle. Coming at all, but now that we're here, all right, here we are. The young black jogger was gunned down in South Georgia. Distance runners became a new voice amongst the usual chorus of social justice activists grimly parsed such tragedies. But among runners, reactions largely differed by one important factor: race. Now, here's the thing about the story of this young man here. They claim that he was merely taking a jog through a neighborhood that he oftentimes did, and all of a sudden was brutally massacred by evil white men. I believe it was a father and a son who were accused of this. Now, how do we know that this was a racially motivated thing? Because, frankly, in today's day and age, if it's a white man taking the life of a black man, it's racism. No, there is no discussion necessary to determine whether this was actually a hate crime or not. That's out of the picture. All that matters is the optics. Was it a white man? Yes. Was there a black man? Yes. Racism. And of course, racism towards jogging. Let us continue. Black runners recounted their own routines intended to deflect the sort of suspicions that turn deadly by Mr. Arbery. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Steering clear of certain neighborhoods, going out only in daylight, wearing an Ivy League sweatshirt to broadcast respectability. Many white runners, by contrast, were aghast that the sense of peace they feel when hitting the road reflected their racial privilege. Now, my dad actually happens to be a runner. I'll bring this back up, by the way, when we're reading. My dad is a runner. I think he started running, close to when he turned 50, which is incredible. And he did everything from the Boston Marathon, I believe the New York Marathon, Sacramento Marathon, Chicago, I think he did as well. He's a runner's runner. And, it's one of these sort of things that he does for obviously bettering himself, but also because it brings him a sense of peace. Now, my father is a black man. My dad is actually a very black man. He's a dark skinned brother, right? And, it turns out that the worst of his experiences has been when a dog was essentially on his tail. One of those type of situations. A big old, I think it was a German Shepherd or something of that nature, which, might have been suspected to be a racist dog, I guess, was after him. Turns out that it was just a sort of psychotic owner who would not do what they're supposed to with such a beast. So, yeah, besides that, again, has he faced racism in his running or his quote unquote jogging? Because they do a lot of training. Some of them almost on a every other day basis where they're running miles and miles and miles. And my dad has run in suburbs, in small towns, in all sorts of places, not just in the United States, but, across the world when he does his traveling, etc. And it seems that jogging has not been a privilege, or at least jogging in peace has not just been a privilege of the white. But again, New York Times must know better than we do. This disparity should come as no surprise. Running has been a pastime marketed primarily to white people ever since the jogging craze. Yeah, because marketers sell things to people who are likely to buy those things. So if you have people who are into health and wellness and that demographic happens to be, say, white, that's who the hell you're going to sell to as a business. The jogging craze was born in the Lily White, Oregon. Yeah, exactly. Demographics. Lily White, Oregon track and field world of the late 1960s, which I know personally that Phil Knight, who is the founder of Nike, is from Oregon, I believe, or at least went to the University of Oregon. That's why they got all the flies gear over there. Black people have not only been excluded from the sport. One survey by Running USA found under 10% of frequent runners identify as African American. So that is because of marketing and racism, right? Not because of cultural norms. When you go into the suburbs, you see joggers, walkers, sometimes full-blown runners. When you go into white neighborhoods, let's say, right? If you go into a Chinese suburb, you're probably not going to find the exact thing. If you go into an Indian suburb, you might have a couple folks out there running, etc. So again, is it to do with segregation or some sort of discrimination towards black people? No, it's just some type of stuff that mostly white people do. My dad's running group, I think now obviously there are, more Asians and things of that nature because they're from the Bay Area, but it is 70 to 80%, or at least has historically been around 70 to 80% white. And most of them are in the tech sector and things of that nature. So that's still not representative of everybody in tech, but you have to get down to who are the demographics that are getting into this activity. It's like basketball. Is basketball racist towards white people? Is, football racist towards white people because there are disproportionately more black folks in these sports? No, that's just who chooses to do it. But again, this is common sense, and it's definitely not so common. And there is not a bit of sense in these people at all. But let us continue. The most apparently, egalitarian exercise of all, running, is anything but, especially when it comes to race. Let's start at the beginning. Oh, Lord, you're about to give me his. Okay, we're not getting through all of this, but let's get through some. I'm not about to eat up your whole entire day with this foolishness. Let's start from the very beginning in 1967. That's the year University of Oregon track coach by the name of Bill Bowerman, together with cardiologist Waldo Harris, published a slim volume titled Jogging, which became a bestseller. Most Americans then thought that exercise as weightlifting or military style calisthenics, but the book made a radical proposition that a steady, easy-paced run, altering with breath-catching periods of walking, was a suitable exercise for everyone ages 7 to 70. I guess if you're 6 or you're 71, you're cooked. It's over for you. No jogging. Best of all, this simple activity required no special skills, no extensive clothing, and no health club membership. All you needed, these running apostles promised, were rubber-soled shoes. Imagine that. How convenient. Hey, you don't need anything for this sport. All you need are just these shoes that we're about to create and put into the marketplace. Buy our shoes. Jog now. I mean, again, it's the beauty of capitalism, the beauty of it. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I'm not trying to be funny. I mean it. You can literally just, something that humans have been doing literally since the beginning of time. We just, kind of give it a little revamp on the marketing side, and then we attach a product to it. Boom, bam, bada, bop, bam, pow. I know this for a fact because my pops buys a lot of shoes for his hobby. Celebrity endorsements and new scientific research on aerobics made jogging a craze that spread far beyond the jogging capital of the United States. 99% white Oregon. Oh no. Yet the new national pastime never delivered on its promise of universalism. Women complained of being harassed by male passerbys. So this is only happening with joggers, I'm guessing, not with walkers, right? If you're walking, you're not going to get the catcall. If you're jogging, well, I guess, things are more in motion. Maybe that makes sense. And at a time when a white middle class exodus to the suburbs had sapped big cities of a vital tax base, many black Okay, hold up. No, we got to get into this. Because they spew their own irony. We got to start doing more of these types of articles, digging into the mind of the enemy of our souls. Listen to this. And at a time when a white middle class exodus of the suburbs had sapped big cities of a vital tax base. So they're basically saying when these white people moved into the suburbs, leaving the big cities, leaving us without their tax dollars. Hey, white people, we hate you. Hey, white people, we can't stand you. Hey, white people, we're going to scapegoat you for every single problem in our lives. But guess what? We need your taxes. How dare you leave us? White flight, racism. Come back here. Live with us. You're racist. We hate you. We can't stand you. But you should live with us so we can get your tax dollars while we hate you. Do you know why people pay as much as they pay to live in certain places? It's to get away from other people who are not like that. It's to get away from the undesirables. That's the God honest truth. Now, if the shoe fits, damn it, wear it. It was never supposed to be simply based on race, but instead it has become a racialized thing because black folks and so-called people of colors have now been essentially perpetuating this culture that nobody who is civil, nobody's rational, nobody who wants better for themselves would ever want to be around. And so they call that racism. I call that intelligence. And it was intelligence when, my folks had the ability to do it eventually. It's intelligence when other black folk do it. They say, we're getting the hell up out of here and we're going to jog our way out. Marketing and media didn't help. From the cover of People magazine to ads for Nike, which Bill Bowerman co-founded, the joggers were almost uniformly depicted as white. Yeah, because that's who was doing it. And also a majority of America is white. Surprise, surprise. Here's the thing. Representation kind of goes like this. The people who are likely to do that thing are going to be shown in the thing itself. Surprise. If you have a basketball commercial in the 60s, 70s, 80s, do you know who's likely to be in that basketball commercial? A black man. Not a white woman. There's no representation there. It's a black man, because that is essentially who is performing at the highest level within that area. It's just, we have to break down the pseudo-intellectualism and just get down to just simple, basic, non-retardation. The black press recommended jogging as a free antidote to, the black press, okay. Sedentary trap, and an ebony one full page color ad for a phone company featured a smiling middle-class couple playfully competing over their 5-mile pace. Some took on the stereotype of the white jogger head on. In 1979, a headline in Jet magazine proclaimed jogging not harmful to black women. It's dangerous to white women, says expert. You know what's harmful to all women? Is sickos and depraved predators. That's who's harmful to women. It's not what they've now classified as toxic masculinity, which is a simple masculinity. That actually was what would step in to hopefully protect our women. It is the sickos, the deranged, the criminals that are now being defended by this leftist mentality and ideology. It is the people who have cultures that cannot assimilate to our own, that are not compatible with our own, that find their way into these Western nations and make it far more dangerous while being protected by the system. That's who makes it dangerous. Not jogging. Like they say with weapons, right? Is it the actual weapon that took that person's life, or the deranged individual on the other side of it? All right. Blacks were constantly defined in... Oh, yeah, wait. I missed something here. Black track athletes, by contrast, were familiar and even celebrated in the United States, but to some white Americans, cheering on Olympic athlete on television was entirely different from embracing black participation in an activity that took place on the streets of their neighborhood. By the 1980s, jogging had become known as a yuppie, affectation? That's different. Don't see that word every day. Like eating croissants, owning a fancy juicer, and working on Wall Street. Guess what? When you teach your kids that it is more important for them to get into finance than it is to get into the NBA, there is a high likelihood that creates a larger population of people who look like your kids being in finance in the NBA. End of story. Is jogging racist? That is absolutely remedial. Now, can anybody jog freely? Absolutely yes. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you start right now. Get off your rear end and get to jogging. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.